Welcome to This Explainer. Look, if you're in senior leadership, you absolutely know the drill. You rely on hard data, objective metrics, and rigorous analysis to drive your business forward every single day. But when it comes to your own career advancement, well, you're probably relying on something entirely different. Today, we're going to unpack some really fascinating insights from Booker Ferrier's Navigate, Lead, Thrive. We're going to look at how you can actually transform those vague, subjective feelings you have about your career into hard, objective, operational data. It's a real game changer. Okay, let's dive into this. We know your time is valuable, so here is the precise roadmap for our brief today. We're hitting the career data problem, the hidden evaluation system, the career ownership audit, the 6 dimensions of friction, enhancing decision-making, and finally, a strategic action plan. I want to start by asking you something directly. What would you do differently this week if you knew exactly which of your 6 dimensions was quietly working against your advancement? Notice the wording there. Not what you kinda suspect, not what your gut tells you, but what you knew as a literal, undeniable fact. Imagine operating your own career with the exact same data-driven certainty you used to run your department. All right, Section 1, the career data problem and the illusion of feeling. Every leader carries around a general sense of how their career is progressing, right? It usually lives somewhere on a spectrum between total, unshakable confidence and this quiet, nagging unease. But here's the thing, the feeling itself is not the problem. The feeling is just the symptom. Your career feeling shifts based on, say, the last conversation you had with your manager. Or maybe it spikes after a meeting where you were particularly sharp. Or it plummets the second someone else's name comes up for a promotion instead of yours. It is completely natural to rely on these feelings. We all do it. But they are absolutely the least reliable data points you possess. Why? Because they're built on incomplete data and they're processed through a lens naturally biased by your own interpretation. That brings us perfectly to Section 2, the hidden evaluation system, or how advancement actually works in the real world. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the harsh contrast it exposes. The corporate system deciding your future operates on entirely different criteria than the ones you use to grade yourself. On the left, we've got how you evaluate yourself, recent interactions, your personal bias, those shifting feelings we just talked about. But look on the right. That's how the system evaluates you. The system does not care about your feelings. It evaluates you through compressed conversations that happen behind closed doors when you aren't even in the room. It grades you based on calibration meetings. It evaluates you on witnessed advocacy, meaning what someone in a position of power has actually seen you do, not what they just believe you might be capable of. And this creates what Farrier calls the hidden scorecard. Your advancement relies on things like judgment architecture, signal clarity, your authorship and positioning, navigating the dilution problem, repositioning windows, and true advocacy and sponsorship. Your gut feelings, they simply can't access this level of systemic data. Your gut can't tell you how clear your signal actually was in a private calibration meeting, for sure. So, moving to Section 3, the Career Ownership Audit and finding a real diagnostic resolution. So how do we actually bridge this massive disconnect in data? The source material introduces something called the Career Ownership Audit. Now, let me be clear, this is not some lightweight internet personality quiz. It is a rigid, structured, professional diagnostic tool. It scores your positioning across 6 crucial dimensions to reveal exactly how clearly the system is reading your value. And notice what it does not measure. Actually, scratch that, let me emphasize this. It does not measure your performance. It does not measure your potential. It strictly measures your positioning. It tells you exactly where you stand in the eyes of the system that dictates your upward mobility. And the absolute beauty of this audit is its operational efficiency. It uses just 12 targeted statements. From those 12 statements, it generates a maximum score of 60. That's it. In literally 5 minutes, you strip away the personal bias and you give your career instinct an exact mathematical coordinate. So the crucial point is this. The score is not a feeling. It is a coordinate. In the executive lexicon, coordinates are incredibly useful. They're actionable. You can map them, you can measure your distance from them, and you can plan clear routes from them. Feelings offer absolutely none of that utility. Okay, Section 4, the 6 dimensions of friction, visualizing your positioning. Once you have your overall score, this diagnostic tool isolates exactly where the system is experiencing friction. Think of your career momentum like a wheel. The audit breaks it down into these specific slices: signal clarity, authorship, positioning, advocacy, and sponsorship. If any core area, let's say your signal clarity is weak, or you're missing true witnessed advocacy, That specific spot creates friction, and that friction stalls the entire wheel of your progression. The audit pinpoints the exact slice slowing you down. Let's move to Section 5, Enhancing Decision-Making, the strategic application of all this data. Knowing your exact specific friction points completely changes how you operate day to day. When you replace a vague, anxious feeling with a specific point of friction, the downstream impact is just massive. It literally changes who you need to talk to this week. It alters how you show up in your next high-stakes meeting. It dictates exactly what you prioritize over the next 30 days. And honestly, just as importantly, it clarifies what you can safely let slide. You go from just blindly working harder to executing targeted, strategic decisions. And this brilliantly illustrates a core philosophy of executive advancement. The audit doesn't tell you how hard to work. It tells you where to work deliberately. Just throwing raw output and grinding harder at a wall won't fix a positioning problem. True leadership is about deliberate, focused effort applied to the exact point of highest leverage. Finally, Section 6, the Strategic Action Plan. Let's move from feeling to fact. Now that you understand the system, it's time to actually execute. Here are your 3 sequential moves for this week. Step 1, take the 5-minute audit. Go in completely honest. The score is only useful if it reflects where you actually are, not where you wish you were. Step 2, once you have your score out of 60, sit with it. Ask yourself, does this score match the feeling I've been carrying, or does it totally contradict it? Either way, you now have a fact where you used to have a feeling. Step 3, book the clarity call. The total score tells you where you stand, but the clarity call is the second half of the diagnostic. It surfaces your dimension-by-dimension breakdown, revealing what the friction is specifically costing you right now, and it gives you the exact map to fix it. The briefing leaves us with this powerful, defining ethos. Your score is not a judgment. It is information. The system evaluating you, it's completely neutral. It is simply reading signals. When you strip away the emotion and you check your ego at the door, you're left with pure information, and information, when acted on deliberately, is the only way careers actually move forward. So, we'll end our brief today with a final, provocative question. You demand rigorous data and operational facts to run your business, right? So, will you continue running your own career on shifting feelings, or will you finally start operating on facts? The next strategic move is entirely yours. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.